Blake, our guest today is Mikael Samuelsson, former Vancouver Canuck. He was there for the glory years, part of the President's Trophy team in 2011, Stanley Cup final team in 2011, and truly one of those pieces that helped get the Canucks from playoff team and good young up-and-coming team to be reckoned with in the National Hockey League.
Well, it was also part of that never-ending search for that perfect winger for the Sedins, right? And, it was post-Anson Carter at this point, and it almost seemed a little cliched. You go get a Swedish guy to play with the Swedes, but they also wanted to get a little bit of savvy character along with it. And Mikael Samuelsson was the way for them to have their cake and eat it too. A guy that had the experience, had raised the cup already with the Red Wings, but had the ability to score and had some, again, just that savvy know-how in the corners as well. It was a perfect complement to what they already had, what they thought they had in Alex Burrows, and a guy that they knew could move up with the Twins, could go down with Ryan Kesler. He was going to be just that quintessential winger, no matter what situation they found themselves in. At least that's what they thought they were getting. And it turned out like it actually turned out better than they thought, because he ended up setting career highs in his first year with the Vancouver Canucks. It turned out better than they could have possibly imagined.
Yeah, it was 2 50-point seasons. Really, the only thing that made him imperfect as a winger with the Twins was he was a left shot, not a right shot. But you remember he played with them some at the World Championships, and that was one of the reasons he decided to sign with the Canucks. He was a very hotly pursued free agent back in the summer of 2009. But you're right, Burrows winds up ascending to the Twins. Of course, Alain Vigneault always used to say Alex gets them playing with some pace, so they're difficult to defend off the rush as well as in the half court. But Blake, you wound up being a great winger for Ryan Kesler and Mason Raymond too, right? Like Raymond and all that speed on the one side, Kesler could shoot and could skate as well. And Mike was the industrious guy, net front wall, bang along the walls, win puck battles along the walls, could score, could pass, was a terrific defensive forward, a penalty killer. A true two-way hockey professional he was.
He was, and again, that's the next step they needed to take. They knew they were close, but they just needed to sprinkle in those finishing pieces. And it's an interesting prism now to look at the current Vancouver Canucks. And again, just take yourselves back to the Canucks now are looking for these still pillars of their defense and like pieces. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, when you're already a great team, you're looking for those final pieces. And he was a great final piece for the Canucks in those challenging years.
He was a leader in the room. His voice was immediately listened to. He was sort of a team conscience for us in the press. You could go to Mike and he would give you, the feel and the real with what was going on in the room. And he also absolutely adored living in our city, playing in our country, and playing for this franchise. So here it is, our conversation with former Canuck Mikael Samuelsson. Our next guest played 699 NHL games and 155 of them with the Vancouver Canucks. It is our pleasure to welcome back to Sekeres and Price, all the way from Sweden on his 45th birthday, no less, Mr. Mikael Samuelsson. Hi, Mike. Happy birthday. Thanks for taking time.
Oh, thank you guys for having me.
What are you up to on your 45th birthday?
Been actually skating a little bit with my kids down here at my backyard. Other than that, opening presents pretty much the whole afternoon. No, I was kidding. Just enjoying life with Christmas break, and enjoy family time.
So how often are you skating then?
I'm not skating hard, not very often. I'm on the ice, I should say once in a while, maybe 3-4 times a week.
Oh, that's a fair amount for retired guys. Some people just throw them away for good, so that's pretty impressive, actually.
Yeah, I'll tell other people what to do now. I'm not actually skating myself. I'm standing on the ice more more like that.
So tell us what team you're with or have been with, and what's the future hold for you?
I've been, or since when, I should say, like since I retired.
No, just coaching wise.
But coaching wise, I've been actually, to say that it's the GM of my hometown team here for a while, for our last 2 years or 2.5 years, and I've been not quite worked as a regular GM. I've been also on the ice with that team, like I said, once in a while. So not every practice. I let the coaches do obviously the drills and everything the coaches does, but I also like to develop guys and be actually right there on the ice and give them some advice what to do and what not to do.
Well, we've been asking everybody how they got their start in the game to take us right back to the beginning of their hockey journey. Where did that happen for you, Mike?
Oh, that happened pretty much 20 minutes where I lived from where I live now. So I'm pretty much where it all started, close to Stockholm, Sweden. I lived close to a hockey rink, to an organization who was really small, like a village. And we were like 15, 20 kids who always skated on an outdoor rink. Was always open, like the big flashlights was on, like through every night, I should say. We came home late. I had an older brother, 2-year-old brother, and we skated pretty much as much as possible, I would say. And we thought it was like playing time, I would say. We didn't see that as practice at all. We just did it for fun. And we did that for years in and years out. That was from the age 5-6-year-old up till 15, when I went to a bigger organization and it was more structured from that moment on. But that's how it all started for me.
When did it become clear to you that you maybe had a special gift here and that this could take you to making money off of this?
I still haven't really realized it. To be honest, but I would say like this: I never thought in my wildest dream I would be the one who made the NHL. NHL was for other guys who was like Peter Forsberg, Mats Sundin, like those Nick Lidstrom. I just enjoyed and try to have I didn't really see myself in that category. It just seemed to happen for me. And that happened kind of late. I hit the NHL or / the AHL when I was 23, if I don't remember wrong. And I just what should I say, like grind and battle at every level I went up to, and I enjoy that that grind. I would say that the journey there is the best. If you actually lucky enough to win something, it's always the journey there who I can't, or who I miss right now at this moment when I sit back and talk. Just lift the Stanley Cup or lift the medals, and when you won, it's one thing who's actually great as well, but for only 10 minutes. But you always will remember the guys you did it with and every day. So, yeah.
We're accustomed to Swedish hockey players coming over, having played for a junior club and maybe a different club when they move to the senior ranks. But in your case, Mike, speaking of that grind, it was 5 different Swedish clubs. It ended with Brynäs in 1999/2000, a year after you were drafted by the San Jose Sharks. Take me through that. You were bouncing around in Sweden there and wound up with Brynäs.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't the sure guy. I don't think a lot of guys saw me as an NHL player who they ever thought should play the NHL, and that's I can understand that, like, because I wasn't really something at any age, I would say, and I should say I had a tough time to find my spot, but some of the teams I pulled a parachute. It's like, you know what? I can't be here. I want to play hockey. I want to play. Yeah, I want to play first of all. And when you're like 19, 20, it's I should say sometimes it's easy to just stick around because of it's a cool team here in Sweden to play in. But I wanted to enjoy the game, like I said before here, like on everyday basis. And if I can't do that, I'm not gonna, or I will find a spot where I can do it. I would say like that. That's why I changed the couple of teams here.
Well, did I read this correctly? Your final year in Sweden, did you lose to Modo and the Twins in the semifinals? Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, before I went over, yes, you read that correctly.
Oh boy,
the Sedin twins were, they were obviously great back then too. That's a funny story to that. Like we played them, like our line played Daniel and Henrik's line. I don't know, I don't remember. Was it the five first games? We played them good. We held them to only a couple of points each or whatever. I can't remember the points there, but we played them good because they were really good. But our coach all of a sudden decided to play our first line against Daniel and Henrik, and then they ended up that game with 5 or 4 points each, and then they took the series right there. So there you have it. Ask the coach. I always say that. Ask the coach why we lost.
Well, the good news is I'm sure they never brought that up.
No,
with you, right, Mike?
The thing is, they never did because they knew I knew.
Yes, exactly.
Didn't have to.
Yeah. So you move from Brenus to your San Jose Sharks draft pick at that point, and they assign you to Kentucky to play for the Thoroughblades, the Kentucky Thoroughblades. I mean, that sounds like a Hollywood sitcom of a Swedish guy getting assigned to Kentucky. What was that experience like?
Yeah, you know what? I had no clue. I had no clue about what Kentucky was about, or the AHL for that standpoint either. There was a guy here named in Brynäs, Tom Bissett, who was a really good player, and I asked him, like, I didn't really see this coming, like for me to get an NHL contract, and I didn't think I was done with Sweden. I thought you're gonna be better in Sweden before you went over to maybe the NHL.
Yeah,
because I didn't really see that with me. Like I had like maybe 10 points in the regular season in like, was it 45 games or something like that? And then I had a really good playoffs. That's what took me overseas then. And he said, and I asked him for advice. It's like, you know, Tom, you think I should go? Like, do you have a contract on the, like on paper that you can sign? Yeah, I do. So like, you know what, sign it. Like Sweden is always here for you. And that was a really good advice. And I went over there, and San Jose still didn't have any really good clue about me. Like obviously a couple of scouts did, but San Jose as an organization was really good, but they had no clue. So I came into training camp, and I guess I surprised guys. I was almost cracking the lineup with a packed lineup. First of all, I just remember they had a really good team. It was in the semifinals or made the playoffs back then every year. So yeah, it was
Marlowe, Nolan,
good...
Sundstrom, Damfus, Ricci. Yeah, no, yeah. This was a pretty good San Jose team, right?
Yeah, it was.
San Jose didn't get to learn much about you because 1 year later, you're traded for Adam Graves. And you're playing on Broadway with the New York Rangers, Mike. Tell us about that experience.
I wish I played with the Rangers later on in my career. I would say I couldn't really enjoy it because that was like, this was before the salary cap, and that was a packed lineup too with big names like Lindros, Pavel Bure, Messier. Brian Leach, Mike Richter. There was like so many guys, and then it was me, kind of. That's what it felt like. It was like, and I just remember like that's where I scored my first NHL goal, and it was It was obviously a dream come true. Like to play downtown New York was something else. And I only wish I did that later on in my career instead of like really early, because I was so focused to just stay with the team another week, just another day, I would say. So I couldn't really enjoy it like I think I could do later on.
You've played a lot of games in the NHL, so maybe this stands to reason, Michael, but you've played with some amazing players. Like when you chronicle that Rangers team, the Red Wings team that you would go to, the Canucks with the Twins. I mean, you've touched with a lot of legends in the National Hockey League. Do you look back on that and realize that yourself?
Yeah, I got that question a couple of times, and I say like how come you can't stay with one team? Do you regret anything? Or it's like, you know what? I'm so happy. I played for 6 teams. Obviously, I have more feelings for a couple of them than others, but I'm so happy to see different places, to play, like you said, to play with some amazing players, and just to see more of the world. I would say I played in California. I played in Canada. I played in Detroit, down in Florida. So it's been a mix of the whole hockey world for me, and I really appreciate that. And like you said, so many different players, and so yeah, I know, and I'm really appreciative of that too. Like I play with those players.
Mario Lemieux. How many shifts do you think you took with Mario Lemieux?
I did actually I played my 5 first games in Pittsburgh with him. So,
wow.
Yeah, there was something else too. So I have a couple of pictures home, and I just, take a look at once in a while. It's like, oh yeah, who's that guy again? Oh, yeah, it's Mario.
Wow. The kids and later grandkids, that'll be good mementos. I mean, not only that, I mean, the players you were traded for, Adam Graves, Alexei Kovalev, Marc-Andre Fleury, amazing. But speaking of legends, you mentioned your first NHL goal. It was against St. Patrick Roy. In fact, 2 of them, and you snapped a huge shutout streak he was working on.
Yeah, you're right. That was probably my nicest goal too. The first one, I can't forget about that. It was like, that was. You want me to go through it?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there was George Sakic. This was on the PK. That's how I started my career too. Joe Sakic and Rob Blake was Joe Sakic playing the half wall. Rob Blake, or it was Adam Foote. I can't remember who was on the blue line. I picked off a pass there, and it went over. It went behind the defenseman's. It went behind defenseman out in the neutral zone. So I jumped on one side, and he tried to interfere me, and I just shipped it by him to the other blue line. And Patrick Roy, he was remembered also for being very active, so he skated out. So I was like racing. I came from my own blue line, and he came from the net, obviously, towards the puck. He was laying on the other blue line, the offensive blue line. So I was skating as hard as I could. I just got there in time to ship it over him. So now I have an empty net, and some time to put it, obviously, hopefully in the middle of the net. And I saw the other defenseman coming, from the other, coming back checking. I thought it was Martin Skudra, and he was throwing himself on the ice. So I fake shot it, and he's sliding by the net, and now I have even more time to think. It's like, I better not miss this. And I was like skating a little bit more and hit it into the open net. It was like, okay,
that's pretty
good.
Wow.
I was a good feeling.
The mic drop goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that at Madison Square Garden, or was that in Colorado, Mike?
That was in Madison Square Garden.
Oh wow, what a story! Well, from San Jose to the Rangers, from Rangers to Pittsburgh, where you barely got to know you there as well, and then to Florida, Mike, where I know there were a couple of really big injuries, and they decide we're not going to tender you. Take us back to that. What's your mindset at that point in your career? This is 2003, 2004. We're heading into a lockout, and Florida has decided not to tender you.
Yeah, exactly. That was the lockout for me was huge. I knew we didn't have the best team in the league, and I knew I had a couple of injuries. You got to be lucky with that too. And if you play for a bad team and have injuries, so you don't put any numbers or you don't showcase yourself, you're pretty much out of the league. So that lockout came perfect timing for me. I had time to recover, and I had time to find my game again. Back home here in Sweden, I played a ton here in Sweden, and that helped me so much. But I still had big problems to find another team when the lockout was done. So I found it in Detroit really, really late. It was probably a week before the opening night, the 05-06 season.
Wow.
And I came in as a 12 forward because of I remember this. Ken Holland told me afterwards. It's like the guys we thought could play on the fourth line couldn't really play. So we asked Håkan Andersson, who's well-known man in Detroit for his scouting. He's scouting Sederberg and Datsuk. So we asked him, like, do you know any player who can play, like, to come in and play? And he mentioned my name, who was still free. And I decided, I was sitting back. I got great offers for Sweden. I said, like, I'm not done with NHL yet. I can't be so I ended up in Detroit and came in there and scored my first games. I scored 5 goals.
Wow.
So that was a great start for me that year, and just what I needed.
And you had signed for what looks to me like was probably the NHL minimum at that point. And for that minimum salary, you give them 23 goals on the season. And the good news for you is it was only a 1-year deal that you signed, and you got to almost triple your money for the next contract.
Yeah, you're right. So I told my agents, like, I don't care what I make as long as it's not a 2-way contract. That way, I'm down in the AHL again and busing all the way through the country. I don't want to do that. We had our first child, and like it's not worth it. Then I play home in Sweden. But if you can find me 1-way contract, great. So that's what happened there.
So you get a little bit of stability there in Detroit, and
win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, and you get to experience 2 deep runs with the Red Wings. You know, not necessarily to the 23 goal pace, but you get to experience it all, and that had to make you very attractive to the Vancouver Canucks. They wanted somebody who had been there and done that, and you were that guy.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, exactly. Detroit, I have so much to thank Detroit for to bring me on those years there. I learned so much from that organization, how to be a part of a winning team. And like you said, I thought for real now afterwards too, we had a chance to win those 4 years I was there. The first time I was there, I would say I was there 2 times.
Yeah.
Late after Vancouver too. That's what I mean. Like we won the President's Trophy, great team in 05-06, but we went out to Edmonton the first round. The 07 team, we went out in the semifinals against Anaheim, and that was, maybe sounds cocky, but I thought it was the finals we played against Anaheim. That was the toughest series I ever played in. That semifinal round. And 08, we made it the whole way through. And 09, we were just about there too. With those 4 years, you're right. That's what North America does. Like they want winners, they say, and all of a sudden they think they have a winner in me. And that free agency that summer, I had a lot of teams after me. But I talked to Matthias Åhlund that summer, and I knew Dan and Hank from national team before, and I played against Kevin Bieksa and Kessler and Burroughs and those guys, and I thought, like, okay, this could be some potential great team, or they were a really good team. What the Vancouver Canucks didn't have then, they were kind of rough around the edges, I should say. Like they took, in my mind at least, I don't know if you know the statistics there, but they took a lot of penalties after the whistles and stuff like that. Like maybe like just stupid penalties.
Mm-hmm.
So if they learn, I got my voice heard there in the locker room the time I was with the Canucks, and I thought we got the more well-shaped team that way, and we had the price on the money. Would say like what's important. Is it to play or pretend you're tough, or what is tough? Is that to play between whistles or just pretend like you can fight the guy? In my world, like you're hard on the puck and you stay focused to the game. That's what's tough to me. Not the other stuff. Obviously, you can be tough in a certain way, but that's not the winning. That's not the winning way in my mind. So we got that more. I should say.
That mindset.
Yeah,
exactly. The mindset was in the right place. I wouldn't, and they know the players there. They needed that. Maybe I thought so. They needed that voice and needed to hear. Like, okay, and what I had with me, like you say, guys, I had one, so I knew what it kind of took, or I pretended I knew at least. And they bought into it.
You at least have to act like it, right?
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
They brought me in because I'm a cup winner, so I'll pretend I know. Well, turn the other cheek. Turn the other cheek, and we'll make you pay on the power play. Became a mantra. It worked all the way to Game 7 of the 2011 Cup Final. We'll get there in a second. But first, Mike, that first year here in Vancouver, 30 goals, 53 points, both career bests for you. Tell us about it.
Yeah, there was. I felt from day one when I arrived in Vancouver, like what a city, and what a treatment for a player to be in. Like in terms of the fans, the fan base, and the national anthem before games. It was like it still gives me goosebumps. That's what I remember so much stuff from Vancouver, but it felt great. I remember Danny picked. Danny and Hank were so nice to me. I didn't really know them from national team. You're in and out kind of, but now they welcome me with such open arms, and I just felt this is the right spot for me. So that's where that happened, like 30 goals and 53 points, whatever. But so I felt at home from day one, and it was so much fun to play for Vancouver Canucks.
You bang your heads against the Blackhawks in the playoffs, and that sets up the 2010-2011 season, which is not as prolific for you from a goal standpoint, but you still have a 50-point season. You're still contributing big time. And you guys go into the playoffs and you see the Blackhawks logo again. Did you know the wise words at that point? Because you'd already imparted some wisdom about keeping the cool and all that sort of thing. But facing a nemesis, and this would be the third time that the group had faced for you, just the second time with the Canucks. But did you know what to say? Did the group really know what to do, especially up 3-0 and then starting to see that series crumble away? Who had any wise words in that room?
Yeah, but I would say like that, like experience builds momentum too. I would say we back it up one year, and we played LA Kings, who had a great team. I can't really remember. Did we play we played the Chicago Blackhawks in the second round, and we lost to them. Yeah, exactly. So we knew what we were in for, and we didn't have to say so many words. Like we knew. Obviously, they showed in 2010 they're a good team, and here we go again. We got off to a great start. The 3 first games. And we also in our head, like they're not gonna lay down and let us take it for nothing. And they got momentum their way. That's what the playoffs is all about. Like it's such a big momentum swings. But if I'm gonna be honest, Game 7 could go either way. It's not any I should say experience. Maybe it is, but yeah, in the long run, you need your lucky breaks, and we got one. Obviously, a great play from Burrows. So you need one guy to step up in the right time, and off we go to a great playoff run. but you always have those hurdles you have to overcome, and then you go all the way, maybe.
Well, Mike, in 2010, that LA Kings series you played, and I think people will have forgotten this perhaps, but 2 Canucks playoff records that you're a part of, 7 goals in 6 games in that series. You tied Pavel Bure's record, and then you tied a Cliff Ronning record for longest goal scoring streak. It was an amazing playoff run for you there in 2010 with 15 points in the 12 games, which brings me sadly, my friend, to 2011, when we all knew you were playing through some stuff against the Blackhawks and against Nashville. You finally succumbed Game 5 in that Nashville series to a sports hernia surgery. How difficult was it for you personally to have to leave the Stanley Cup run at that juncture, particularly given how important you were the previous year in the postseason?
Yeah, that was a tough one for sure. I played. If you look back at the injury, what happened on that play, the Nashville, I thought it was Spalding down in the corner. He barely touched me. I just made one turn, and it said like boof. Like it was. I was so sensitive to, or I should say, to pull my groin, and I did more than pull. Like there was. Yeah, there was. I don't know what the English word is for it, but it was a bad.
It was in a bad way. Yes.
Yeah, it was a bad way and bad injury, and it was a recovery from it too. And I played. Obviously, I played with that for I don't know how long, but obviously, like everybody played through injuries. But if you can't skate, you can't really do too much. You can play on experience, but you need your legs underneath you. Otherwise, you're pretty much done. So yeah, it was really tough. But I'm so happy how the other guys stepped up, but and had that great run. I was trying to still be part in the locker room, but it was mentally really tough. Yes, you hope with everything you got to, or you try to help the team. But still, it's you know how much fun it is to be on the ice and play your heart out, even if it doesn't go your way. That's what you live for and almost die for. Those moments when everybody have their towels up and shake them and scream and that national anthem. Once again, I come back to that. Like before the playoff games, it's good regular season, but when it comes to playoff games and the whole crowd sings that's hockey to me. That's those experiences I really miss when I'm speaking now here from Sweden.
One of my vivid memories of the final, and I didn't really have a seat to call my own because I was doing intermissions, so I just take John Shorthouse's seat during the intermission. But I remember where you were sitting watching those tough games in Boston. And maybe I'm just imprinting this on you, but to me, the look on your face as you watched those bad games in Boston go down was, God, I wish I could be out there. It seemed to me I could read that on your face that if I could only go down there and help them right now.
Oh yeah, that's what you want to do. You feel powerless up in the stands, obviously, and if the coach decided to put you there, it's one thing, but if you have an injury and you know otherwise you're in great shape, you're in good mental health, like you have the experience, like I'm on top of my game those years. It was like, okay, I'm here, I want to, I know I can do some damage. I had a great role on the team, so all those things together, it's that's really frustrating, and unfortunately it's a part of the game too. We had too much of those, too much important guys go down. I wouldn't call myself important, but I had a big role on the Canucks. But too many big guys or important guys go down, and that's momentum too. And that's you have to be lucky to go the whole way with bounces your way, injuries. You can't just say, okay, this team's gonna win this year. Yeah, it depends. Depends how many healthy guys you have. But yes, that's not the best feeling in the world to sit there and can't help the team.
The next season, 6 games in, You were traded to Florida in the David Booth exchange, and you got down there and said you didn't think so highly of Canucks management anymore. Can you explain that?
No, yeah, I could. I was still battling this injury. I got my groin injury. I couldn't. My left leg, I couldn't skate. When I was injured, or when I was traded, I was injured. So, but I was devastated, and I couldn't believe, like, I didn't see it coming at all. And I remember also, no offense to David Booth, that like I didn't know who that was. So I went into AV's office, and Mike Gillis was there too, and they said, like, we've been traded you, okay, for who and to where, like, to Florida Panthers, and for David Booth and Steven Reinprecht. That's like, okay, I know Steven Reinprecht, but who's David Booth? Like, oh, he played with Kessler before in the World Championships, or the juniors, I think they said. So I think they will have a great connection. It's like, okay. So me and Marco Sturm went that way. So I didn't see that coming at all. I was devastated, and that because I really, maybe a lot of players say they like the Canucks. I really did. I had the best time of my life, or my career in Vancouver. I was close to still live in Vancouver with my family. That's how much I liked it, even if I'm from Sweden here. But they that city and those people, or you guys, will also always have a special place in my heart.
Oh,
so
listen
yeah.
to that, Blake.
Yeah.
Finally, we got a Canuck talking how
Yeah.
much he loves the Vancouver media.
No, I did. It was a good team. It was a good city. Like, what was it to not like? And Canada is also something special to play for. Like, I've been I was in hockey town Detroit before, but and they're great fans. When you come to Canada, it's something else with the atmosphere and hockey. It's like football and Italy. It just belongs together. I would say. So I'm happy for that.
You were able to speak freely in Florida, and you said you thought Burrow's biting Bergeron in the final was a big turning point. A lot of people point to the Aaron Rome hit. We've had Aaron Rome on this series. Some people, points to Roberto and what he said about Tim Thomas that one day after that one game. But you thought it was the Burrows and Bergeron biting incident that turned the series, huh?
Yeah, but like a couple of players for the Canucks, Kessler, Bieksa, Burrows. When I played against them before I joined the Canucks, they play on the edge. And that's how they made their living. That's how they were the best players they could be. And that's what I said there. It was because it happened something to the Bruins, not because he hurt his finger or anything like that, but something. I guess the Bruins thought that we, like, as a Canuck, stepped over the line with biting, or whatever it was there. And that wasn't good for us. They had a tougher team than us, and they started to show it. You don't want to really piss them off like that. That's why I said it. Do I blame Burroughs for that? No. Like, he still played on the edge, and he scored a huge goal in game 5. So he had a big part of that series, but obviously they were a little bit better in the last couple of games.
We loved your quotes, Michael, all the time. One of the ones we haven't got to is the national team that you represented at the Olympics, the Worlds. You were a loyal soldier for the Tre Kroner. But in 2010, with that amazing season underway, they didn't give you the nod, and you said that they can go F themselves. And we got a big kick out of that, and everybody in Vancouver was cheering you on, because how could they turn their back on you now with the career you're going on? Have you made up with the national program since then?
No, I don't know. You have to ask them. I never played in any more national teams. I'll tell you that. But it was like, I don't know. I was thinking a little bit, but I was, once again, I was surprised I wasn't on the team. Yeah, I was. That would have been fun. But I don't know really what to say about it. Was it the best choice of words?
Yes,
probably not. but at the same time, you say like, okay, if I get the question, yeah, are you disappointed? Yeah, I'm disappointed. Like they didn't like. I wanted them to know I was pissed.
Yeah.
That's the reason I said it, and not only that I didn't make the team, the way I found out about it in the papers, that's lack of respect. If you're always there when they say like, hey, you want to come and play with the national team, they expect like you to say yes, and if they expect that, the federation, they should treat the players with respect back. That's my opinion. It still is, and that was not respect to read the roster in the papers.
Mike, what are you up to now? We understand you enjoyed golfing down here in Vancouver when you were a Canuck more than hiking. I'm told you didn't quite relish those cliff edge heights with the Twins. You're not the biggest heights guy. But what are you up to now? Catch us up.
I stopped playing 2015. I actually, maybe the Canucks fans maybe don't like this, but I worked for the Chicago Blackhawks for 3 years as a development coach back in Europe, in Sweden. And after that, I became a GM for my home team town for the last, like I said, 2.5 years. A week ago, I stepped down from that too, and at this moment, I'm enjoying life with my family and not doing too much the last week though. So this is actually really new to me. So,
Blake, how about this? He's big life changes. His 45th birthday, 2 days before Christmas, and he still made time for the Vancouver media.
And
what a guy!
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Mike, someone mentioned to me that you went home to Sweden knowing you wanted to play one more year because you felt like retiring from hockey and moving back to Sweden would be too big of a transition all at once, and you wanted to sort of ease yourself into life after hockey. Is that right?
That's absolutely right. I couldn't say it better. It is two big decisions, and I didn't like the way I went out of the NHL with Detroit Red Wings. So I thought I had more in me, and but that's the big reason you just mentioned there.
Well, Mike, we're very appreciative of the time. Happy holidays to you. We'd love to see you over here in Vancouver again. If you get a chance to come on back with the family, please do come say hello.
I appreciate that. I will.
Thanks, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Sekeres and Bryce, and that interview in this show, a presentation of Audi Downtown Vancouver.
Boxing Day sale? No, Boxing Week sale at Audi Downtown Vancouver. Exclusive in-house deals on pre-owned and finance office product. You get 20% off parts and accessories. Go check it out with Chris O'Neill and his entire team at the corner of Burrard and 2nd, or visit them at AudiDowntownVancouver.ca.
Wow, what a conversation. He remains a terrific conversation. I was caught off guard by how many legends he played with.
Yeah,
me too. He started rattling off Mario, Messier, Bure, Leach, and on and on. And when, I mean, obviously, know of the players he played with in Detroit who were so darn good, but goodness gracious, he touched them all.
I had forgotten the Penguin stop. I had forgotten, the San Jose beginning that he got to at least dip his toe on a couple of nights, and then how star-studded that Rangers team was. So, yeah, I mean, to think about where he played, and then the detail. This is what I love about talking with ex-players, is the detail of their goals. Like, honest to God, I bet you Mikael Samuelsson could have walked us through every one of his goals, but I love the detail of his first ever NHL goal.
Well, shorthanded at the Garden, where you pick off Joe Sakic or Rob Blake and go the other way.
Chipping it past two guys with an open net. I mean, this is great stuff. Absolutely great story.
Just amazing. I love the part, what is tough, He very much embodied that Canuck mantra of turn the other cheek, make them pay. on the power play. And like, here's the thing I think people forget. Mikael Samuelsson, not a small guy, 6'2", 220. But, when he talked about toughness, he talked about being hard on the puck, about being focused on the game and all those things. He really came to embody what the Canucks mantra was in those years.
For sure. And, he kind of is flies in the face of sort of the Swedish stereotype that goes, like, he had a steely gaze too, right?
Oh.
Like he was an intense player. And I think it's why he was a good quote as well. It's just that he had opinions and he had, determination and again, just a perfect seasoning salt to those Canuck teams back then.
Yeah, no, he was a fearless player, fearless guy. He was okay with scar tissue, and he revealed some of it, right? I mean, devastated to leave here. It was the best time of his life. His family thought about relocating and living here post-career. And, that he twice, Blake, during the conversation said, the goosebumps that he gets from hearing our anthem, not even his anthem, at Rogers Arena.
And Matt, for the 25-year-old fan that might have been listening to that, they'd be like, really? You used to, at Rogers Arena? Yeah, that's the atmosphere that used to be at Rogers Arena. Like, it seems like a world away now, given what's happened in the last 10 years.
Hey, don't tell me that NHL players don't want to play in Vancouver.
Exactly.
You hear that, right? To play in this environment, when the team's going well, there are few places you'd rather have.
Matt, it's almost like winning is kind of fun and breeds, an atmosphere that people want to be a part of. It's almost like winning does that,
Well, Stanley Cup champion, Olympic gold medalist, world champion, Mikael Samuelsson did a lot of winning.